if Enric Mas and Primoz can't get rid of each other, which until now they haven't been able to do that many times, I can see Carapaz taking advantage of it and go for the stage win. So Carapaz plus 1,000 is my favorite to win the stage.
Hi, I'm Spencer Martin, along with Johan Bruyneel, and this is Outcomes.
Outcomes is not an online gambling operator or a gambling site of any kind. We are simply here to provide information about sports betting for entertainment purposes only. It is a responsibility of all visitors to this podcast to check current local laws in their area or country before doing any gambling online. It is your responsibility to know and follow your local laws in place. Although we try best to provide accurate information on Outcomes, we cannot be held responsible for any inaccurate or incorrect information which is mentioned on this show. If you place any bets based on the conversations on Outcomes, you confirm or understand that it is possible to lose some or all monies used when betting on sports or doing any gambling. You cannot hold Outcomes responsible for any such losses. Our podcast is here to provide entertainment and should be viewed as that and nothing more. Thanks for tuning in.
Everybody, welcome back to Outcomes. We're predicting stage 19 of the Vuelta a España. Johan, we'll get your take on who's going to win and how it's going to play out in 1 second, but I briefly want to pick your brain on stage 18, which just wrapped up, won by Urko Berrade from Equipo Kern Pharma, their third stage win of this race. We actually picked them to win a stage, I forget, like in the middle of this Vuelta. It was something like plus 40,000 odds. I don't know what he was for today's stage, but it was probably similar to that. Someone hit that. Someone got paid out. Congratulations for that. It was out of the breakaway. The Equipo Kern Pharma had 3 riders out of the last 10 rider group, which was key because they could just attack and then sit on everyone that tried to respond. I thought there would be no GC action. Back in the GC group, though, EF went to the front. I guess you could say blew it up, but they really just set up a Richard Carapaz attack on the hardest climb of the race. One rider got dropped. One GC rider got dropped. Significant GC rider, Mikel Landa. I kind of wonder if we're going to hear more about that later, if he was sick, if something wasn't quite right. They had perfectly placed satellite riders so that Carapaz just kind of kept picking up teammates who worked for him. It looked great. It looked seamless. You kind of wonder why. They spent a lot of energy, especially Carapaz spent a lot of energy attacking while everyone else just followed. And we're going into probably 2 of the hardest stages of the race, plus a time trial. I just kind of wonder what did EF gain from that maneuver? Do you have any insight into that?
I don't, and I don't really understand what the reasoning behind it was. I mean, maybe Carapaz thought that he could drop O'Connor. I mean, O'Connor got dropped at a certain moment, but he was always going to come back. So I don't know. Carapaz obviously is always good in the last week of every Grand Tour, whether he goes for GC or not. Looks like he's on a high level since the beginning of this Vuelta and is getting better. So it was a big effort today for no result. I mean, I don't think Landa is or was a threat for him. Even if I think Landa was, he was 15 GC, but Carapaz is a better time trialist than Landa, way better time trialist. So I don't know. If I was Carapaz, I would have saved it for tomorrow and the day after, but they had another plan. It was nice for us to watch, right? At least there was some action in the main group. But to come back on the breakaway, Spencer, amazing to see this Kern Pharma team, performing so well, not just now, since the beginning of the race. 2 stage wins for Pablo Castrillo. They had already a few top 3 or top 5 places with other riders. I think Paul Mikel was a few times top 5. Today 3 guys. First of all, to have 3 guys in that big group, and then on top of that, when it splits, they have their 3 guys in the front, in the pointy end of that group, with 3 out of 10 or 3 out of 12. I don't remember now, but that was amazing. And still, to win out of that group, it was a strong breakaway with some big engines there, who were all there for the same objective, to try to win the stage. There was nobody in there riding for GC. So, hats off to them. They're having the race of their life. Winning 3 stages in the Tour of Spain, they could never have dreamed of this. I'm curious to see now, for example, I'm thinking ahead of next year, because there's 4 teams that qualify in Spain for an invitation for the Vuelta. It's Kern Pharma and Euskaltel, but there's also Burgos BH and Caja Rural. And so they're taking turns, right? Every year. Yeah. Next year, in theory, it's for Burgos and for Caja Rural. How are they going to let Kern Pharma out of the race next year?
It is odd to think about. I mean, they've won more stages at this Vuelta than Movistar has won since 2020 at the Vuelta. So it seems great. Like, they're on paper the best performing Spanish team at the Vuelta a España, and they might be left off. The only thing is, like, Urko, he's out of contract at the end of this year, and then same thing with Pablo Castrillo. So maybe they could sell that as, they don't have the guys that won the stages on the team. I assume they'll be on the move, right? Or do you think it's not possible these guys come back? Is it?
Castrillo, no. Castrillo has signed for Ineos, as we said, the other day. But Berrade, I think Berrade will stay. I mean, if I would be him, he's going to get a good contract from they do have a decent budget, and the company behind the team does have the means to increase the budget. I mean, they're going to want to keep one of these guys, and Urko Berrade, he's a Basque rider. The team is from the Basque country. Today it was basically 50K away from their headquarters. They're going to want to keep, some of their good guys. So yeah, I don't expect them both to be going on the move. Berrade is 26 already, so I think he feels pretty. Obviously, if you can go to a World Tour team, you're gonna take it, right?
GC leader at Movistar.
Maybe not. It's a different game. But yeah, Kern Pharma. Listen, I listened to his interview after the race. He said that they knew since the beginning of the year that they were selected for the Vuelta. They've prepared properly. And the whole team is riding really well. It's not, obviously they have 3 stages now with these 2 riders, but they have other riders that are also performing really well. So amazing to see that in a Grand Tour.
We don't know like what their preparation was, but it actually kind of makes sense. I'm surprised more teams don't do this where, okay, we have an invite to the Vuelta. Who cares if we win a stage at, I don't want to throw mud on the races. I'm just Tour of the Alps came into my mind. Like, maybe just punt the Tour of the Alps and be like, hey, let's just do really well at the Grand Tour that's invited us. I bet ASO wishes some of their wildcard teams took the races seriously as Kern Pharma is taking this Vuelta, because the Tour this year had, like, what did Total Energies do at that race?
Nothing.
Like, they must be thinking like, thanks for nothing, Total. You didn't even get in the breakaways on the sprint stages, and you didn't contest any stage wins. So maybe learn from the Spanish team. But if you're wondering, like, how is this possible? It was key for them to have 3 riders in that final group of 10. And also, a lot of the strong riders got called back. And like poor Mauro Schmid, second again, looked incredible. I thought for sure he was our pick. I thought he was going to win. But like Matteo Cantagna got called back with, I think it was 17K to go, 13K to go maybe. I don't fully understand that. But then also Navarez got called back, I believe. So a lot of these riders that maybe would have made it harder for them got called back to the GC group because EF decided to make the race so hard. So in some ways, EF trying to set up Carapaz for the attack really affected the stage win battle, minutes and minutes up the road, which is kind of interesting to think about.
Yeah. Yeah. I think Narvaez, I don't really understand either what they were doing. I guess because Carlos Rodriguez was going to overtake Landa, I guess. Yeah, that's probably the case. But Cattaneo, I would have left him in the breakaway. It was clear that already he had Landa had Casper Pedersen and Mauri van Zevenand. So 2 riders were there with him. He didn't look good at all. It's not going to change anything if they bring Cattaneo back and he had a decent chance to win the stage. You know, he was one of the strong riders.
Really good chance.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, I think that was a mistake. Soudal Quickstep having criticized for waiting so long to bring him back. I wouldn't have brought him back at all. I would have kept him there.
I mean, I guess you have to do it. If you're going to do it immediately. But I mean, there's a decent argument to be made. If you're getting dropped on that climb, which is a hard climb, we talked about yesterday. If you're getting dropped in that climb, I don't like your chances over the next 2 days anyway.
Exactly.
I don't like, things are correlated here. Like, it's not like, woof, we got through stage 18. Now it's a cruise to Madrid. It's like, it only gets harder from here. No. So something's, and that's not in Landa's, it shouldn't be getting dropped in that climb.
No, that's not his level. That's not his level. No. Something was off today. Something was wrong. If today something was wrong, it doesn't look good for the next 2 stages either, you know?
Yeah. But speaking of the next 2 stages, we can go to stage 19, unless you have anything left to say on stage 18.
No. I mean, other than I'm in awe of Kern Pharma. It's amazing.
It is amazing. It's actually really fun to see. Do they need to put a salary cap in the sport? Are these big budget teams like Kern Pharma ruining cycling, Johan? They're stealing all the victories, monopolizing all the money and riders.
It's actually amazing to think that there are teams who have a star rider and his salary is more than the total salary of that team.
Yeah.
Of the total budget of that team, and they're winning 3 stages. You know, I'm going to guess in Ineos, for example, there's probably guys who make, I don't know who would make the most, probably Pidcock maybe. If he's the best paid rider, I mean, his contract is probably going to be more or less the total budget of Kern Pharma.
There's probably riders on Ineos that haven't won a race this year that their budget's 50% of the total Kern Pharma budget. But it shows you how much fat there is, not literally, in pro cycling. Like, teams just beef up on some of these salaries. And like, you mentioned a French rider to me a few years ago, and he made something like €1.5 million a year. And this person, if I said his name, you might not know it, because he rarely ever competes for victories. And it's just, I mean, Kern Pharma should be a reminder of what you can do if you're really focused about spending and the.
Well, and then, also have luck on your side, and it's as usual, Spencer, in a Grand Tour. Once the ball gets rolling in a team, they are in this mode now that everything works. Everything seems to work, It's not always going to be the case, of course.
Yeah.
They are performing way, way above their level, right? But it's, it's possible. It's possible. Everything seems to work. I mean, how can you even make it up that you're going to have 3 riders in the breakaway of 10? I mean, you can't make that up,
And they got your sprinter that got 4th the day before is like up in a hard breakaway, like marking moves. But you would say like Alpecin or Intermarché, like they're kind of the big league version of this. Think how focused Alpecin is. Like, they had Jay Vine, and they're like, yeah, we don't want a GC rider because that's going to detract from our focus of only winning stages. Yeah. And just knowing who you are and sticking to that is key in professional cycling. Mm-hmm. Otherwise, you get these messy, expensive rosters.
Yeah. Yeah.
So stage 19, tough mountain state. I mean, it's like medium tough. The total elevation is not overwhelming, but then there's 2 categorized climbs, but the final climb is it's about 9 kilometers long at 9% average, with pitches much steeper than that towards the finish. So
the last 4 kilometers average above 11%, Spencer.
That is hard. Yeah. And it's 173 kilometers long. If we didn't say that, the total, not the final climb, the stage. But I'll list off the favorites from Unibet, and then we'll get your take on who's going to win, Johan. Primoz Roglic is the favorite at plus 300. Enric Mas at plus 550. Richard Carapaz at plus 1,000. Max Poole at plus 1,200. Eddie Dunbar plus 1,400. Jay Vine plus 1,400. Filippo Zana plus 1,800. Juan Izagirre plus 2,200. Pablo Castrillo plus 2,500. I guess you can't count him out. Sepp Kuss plus 2,500. Adam Yates plus 2,500. Goes on and on. We won't name everyone. But Johan, how is this going to play out? I think this is tricky. Breakaway or GC, and who's going to win?
Difficult. It's not a real mountain stage. It's the last climb is brutal. So whoever's in a break and the break makes it, will have to have really, really good legs, because on those last 8 kilometers, you will lose. I mean, they need to have 4 or 5 minutes at the bottom of the climb to make it. I think it's this. I think to play it safe, Spencer, I'm going to pick one rider from the GC group. This is a typical Primož Roglič finish. He won there already in 2020 on the same climb, in front of Richard Carapaz. I'm going to pick Carapaz to win the stage. Because he's plus 1,000, and it seems to me like he is the guy that is maintaining his form at least, or even getting a little better. He knows how to attack, and if Enric Mas and Primož can't get rid of each other, which until now they haven't been able to do that many times, I can see Carapaz taking advantage of it and go for the stage win. So Carapaz plus 1,000 is my favorite to win the stage.
It's a really good price for a rider that has looked good throughout this Vuelta. Like, think of Covadonga. He was stronger than Roglič on Covadonga. So it's not crazy to think he wins this. If Enric Mas would kind of be the obvious swerve if you weren't going to pick Roglič. But as we saw there, if Mas drops Roglič, there's no guarantee he drops Carapaz. And if he goes to the line with Carapaz, he's going to lose to Carapaz. Mm-hmm. Carapaz looked incredible today. I do kind of wonder, like, what... I hope you feel very good, Richard Carapaz, because you used a lot of energy today. But maybe that's a sign that he does feel that confident and he does feel that good. I'm going to go Primož Roglič, though. That could be a silly move. He's expensive at plus 300. He's plus 320 on FanDuel. I mean, Carapaz at plus 1,000 is a much better price. I think it's kind of now or never a Roglič. I mean, ideally, he wins tomorrow, survives Sunday,
Saturday.
Survives the TV. Survives Saturday, survives the TT on Sunday, wins the race. And like, it's really won tomorrow. He kind of puts the nail in the coffin of O'Connor. So I'm going to go Roglič just because how the stages are structured and how they're ordered, it would make sense for him to win the stage tomorrow, essentially, and then just control the race for the rest of the 2 days.
Yeah, I think tomorrow it's going to happen for Primož, at least for the leader's jersey. I have no doubt about that tomorrow he's going to be in the red jersey. The question is, are they going to do it? Are they going to be in the game for the stage win, right? That's why I think we need to go to another scenario, and a breakaway might make it to the finish. It's not an excessively hard stage except the last climb. So, but still, it's going to be the same riders as always. And I'm going to pick Jay Vine as my second choice to win the stage. I think he will be in the break. He may want to take the back from his own teammate Marc Soler, although Marc Soler will also be in the break. So that's going to be interesting.
It's going to be really fun.
It's going to be interesting. And but anyway, I think their main goal of Team UAE is going to be a stage win. And I think Jay Vine is in good shape. Today he didn't do anything. I mean, he sat up on purpose. He was in a group far behind, so that makes me think that he was thinking about tomorrow's stage. So yeah, Jay Vine is going to be my second choice.
It's a great pick. My only quibble: go back to stage 16, Covadonga. Who beat Jay Vine on that? I would say that should be used as that's a very hard climb. So you can say who did, and it was ridden very hard. So who did well on that? They'll probably do well tomorrow. Filippo Zana did really well. Finished 18 seconds behind Marc Soler. We're not picking Marc Soler, I guess, just because we don't trust him. We don't trust. I mean, also, if you're going for KOM, there's a very good body of evidence that it's very hard for you to go for KOM on these stages. I think we saw the same thing with Carapaz, stage 20 of the Tour, where he was needing to get KOM points. He didn't win that stage, obviously. So it's hard to do both. So I'm going to go Filippo Zana plus 1,800. Pretty good price for a rider that's proven he's a very good climber, even though, I mean, he's plus 3,000 on FanDuel.
That's good.
Because we were just talking before the show, like, are we sure this guy's a good climber? He doesn't you don't think of him as one of the great climbers, but he's just proven it at this race that clearly he is.
He is a good climber. He's a good climber. It's just that we're not used to see him very often at, in the game and in big races, but he has been performing really well in other races. I mean, I don't remember one of the races. Was it Turkey or, I think he won that race he won a race last year, a stage race. Don't remember which one it was. Was it Turkey or Hungary or didn't he?
Slovenia. Yes, Tour of Slovenia.
Tour of Slovenia, yeah. So,
Turkey, Hungary, Slovenia, same.
No, he is a good rider. And the fact that he was up there on Lagos of Covadonga is obviously the proof that he has great legs. So I can definitely back that up, that he is a candidate to win from a breakaway.
He did win a mountain stage in the Dolomites, Giro d'Italia, stage 18, 2023, over Thibaut Pinot, pretty good climber, and Derek G, who now you might say one of the best climbers in the world. So Zana, yeah, I think he could do it. I'm actually surprised to see him at +3. I think people have just forgot it because he switched from a stage hunter to GC at this Vuelta because he was going for the youth classification, and it was a big deal in Italy. So I think we've kind of forgotten how good of a stage hunter he can be in the mountains.
Yeah.
Well, I think that's everyone, right? We've picked 4 riders.
Yeah, exactly.
And it is tough. I mean, I do think it's smart to spread it out between GC and breakaway because this thing could go either way. Really just depends the dynamic of the race, how it plays out on the road. I'm looking for head-to-heads. These are on DraftKings because they're not on FanDuel yet. Here's an interesting one. Ben O'Connor, -140. Florian Lipowitz, +100. Lipowitz looked a lot better than O'Connor today.
Today, yes. But Lipowitz.
And he won't be doing any teamwork, so he'll be fresh.
He does. I mean, he does actually. He does. I mean, usually it's who is it? There's one guy. Is it Aliotti or something?
Yeah. Yep.
Aliotti, and then it's Vlasov, and then Lipowitz. So he's gonna be on team duty tomorrow on the last climb for sure. But he has the ability to keep going, and he can suffer. I mean, he can suffer, that guy. Really fighting hard for the young jersey. So yeah, I think Lipowitz gets in front of Ben O'Connor.
I mean, I'm actually surprised it's weighted this way because stage 16, he did teamwork. He's 19th, O'Connor's 20th. So there's actually precedent of him doing teamwork and then going on to finish in front of O'Connor. I think O'Connor's going to have a tough day tomorrow. I like the O'Connor story more than anyone. I think it's maybe going to come crashing down tomorrow. So I like Lipowitz at +100 as well. Yeah. Alexander Vlasov, -175. Valentin Paripantra, +125. It's tough because I guess they'll both be with their GC leaders. There's no way they're in the break, right?
Where's Vlasov in GC?
He was in the move today, so he's probably gone up. Where is he? He is now, he's 15th. He lost a lot of time yesterday, oddly. Okay. I'm not sure why.
Okay, well, then I'm going to say in this case, I'm going to say Paripantra. Because he's going to try this because in my opinion, I mean, the reasoning behind this is Vlasov will set a really hard tempo for Roglic. Roglic will go. Vlasov will let it go. Paripantra needs to stay with Ben O'Connor.
Yeah.
As long as he can. So.
And he's kind of been Ben O'Connor's bodyguard the last few days. Like there's not really, do we know what happened to Felix Gall?
I was just going to ask what happened with him. I was just going to ask. I don't know.
You'd have to assume illness.
Not just sick or completely empty.
Disinterest. He just got bored. I'm just going to step out of this. No, it must be sickness. This one is kind of a little dangerous. Jack Haig -280. Louis Menchis +200.
Ooh. I don't know, man. These guys, I mean, Jack Haig has been very, very invisible in this race. Mentions has been in a few breaks, but has not been impressive at all. I'm going to say Mentions. You know why? Because I think he'll be in the break.
Yeah. And he's not going to sit up and wait for a teammate.
No, he doesn't have to.
Problem solved.
Yeah.
Okay, Menchies. I'm looking for here. I'm just looking for. This is just to get you to ask you about Sepp Kuss. So Sepp Kuss minus 120, Mikko Landa minus 120. So they're even odds. The book takes a big cut. But Sepp Kuss is in a weird position at this Vuelta because he is currently sitting 12th, nearly 10 minutes back. He's going to get nothing out of this race, GC wise, if he doesn't go in the breakaway. I guess technically they won't want him to go in the breakaway because he's a GC threat, even though he's not a GC threat, clearly, at this race, unless you gave him like 10 minutes. It's like, does he just sit in the peloton tomorrow? Like, how do these next 2 days
I don't think Sepp Kuss has the legs, man. I mean, he looks like he's struggling today. He didn't look good at all. He really didn't look good today on that climb. Where does he finish?
I mean, he was getting dropped quite early. He finished 44 at 10 minutes
44 to 10 minutes, yeah. So, he's in the group of Landa, no? Yeah, with Landa and Adam Yates. No, that's obviously not. But anyway, and Sepp Kuss against who?
Yeah, this is the rub. Mikko Landa.
Okay, Sepp Kuss.
Kuss is not good, but I actually do think something's up with Landa. So
I think so too. Yeah,
I don't think he's going to magically be better tomorrow.
Yeah,
and Primož Roglič minus 140, Enric Mas plus 100,
and Primož.
Yeah, I agree. And then last one, Richard Carapaz minus 230, David Gaudu having a very good race plus 160.
Richard Carapaz.
Okay. Actually, these are a lot of interesting ones. Mateusz Skelmoza minus 190, Carlos Rodriguez plus 135. Skelmoza's looked good.
Yeah. Carlos looked a bit better today, but still not really convincing at all. I think Skelmoza tends to do good on these climbs. You know, he takes his own rhythm and then finishes strong on the last steep part. He's riding really smart. So
finished 4 seconds in front of Rodriguez on stage 16. The tight. I do think Skelmoza, and something I've noticed about Ineos, you saw it on TV today, like Rodriguez, it just looks like grim when they're at the team bus, and when you're there in person, it's not a happy vibes around the bus. I just imagine that would weigh on me over the course of a Grand Tour. Mm-hmm. I would go Skelmoza here. He's looked better. He's in a better environment, better situation.
Yeah.
Well, thanks, Johan. Do you have anything else to add before we get going?
No, that's it.
All right. We will be back tomorrow for stage 19 and have a good evening.
Okay.
Sorry, stage 20. This thing is going fast. Holy smokes.
Already, yeah.
Wow.
Reportedly the hardest stage of the whole Vuelta. You know, close to 5,000 meters of elevation and an extremely hard finishing climb. So that's going to be really interesting.
It looks, there's a comical amount of classified climbs on it, but we'll preview it tomorrow.
Yeah. Okay. Thanks.
All right. Talk to you later. Bye.